Hi everyone! My skin is not in the greatest shape right now. I did recently get some exfoliation done. I got a massage done and then I got a facial done and I got my like T-zone in particular was cleared out, but I have a lot of like what feels like sunspots and kind of some like dark scarring, and hopefully it fades with winter. I'm trying to be good about sun care, but yeah, this summer has not been a great skin year for me, and I kind of just blame all the random heat waves because we're actually in the middle of like a heat wave right now. You've probably seen it on the news if you live anywhere in the southeast. So I thought I would film Ye Old Faithful. I thought it'd be fun because it's a heat wave. This is actually a new palette. This is actually an untouched new palette because my old one, which is the first eyeshadow palette I ever acquired and I used it to filth, got peed on. I salvaged everything I could, but that one was one of the two that were completely unsalvageable, the other being Naked Honey. I have since repurchased both, and so I'm gonna use this. So it's gonna look like I've never used it in my life, but trust me, I had one at some point and I used it and it got desecrated. Matcha decided she didn't like it, I guess. So first things first, I'm going to hydrate my skin with the Dominique Cosmetics primer, just the usual. I have basically just been staying inside, avoiding the heat as much as humanly possible. I will deliberately not order lipsticks or other products during the summer because of the fact that they arrive melted, and if I do ever see any mail that I know is heat sensitive, I literally, the moment I see the mail truck, I run out and I get it because otherwise it's just going to be destroyed waiting in the mailbox. And then I'm going to use the Bobbi Brown Hydrating Eye Cream. This is way smaller than I thought it would be, and I guess I should have checked the product size, but this is not much eye cream for a lot of price. So I bought it just because I've been interested in it as an alternative to the JACLYN primer. It has no discernible scent, which is awesome. My new JACLYN eye primer did come in and I've been using it, obviously. But if this is a good alternative, if it lasts longer, then obviously, even though it's more expensive, it should be more economical in the long run if it lasts longer, kind of a thing. So it's meant to be an eye cream. Like, Bobbi Brown does have an explicit eye base, but I've heard it smells the same as the face base, which is why I haven't bought it, because I don't like the scent of the face base. It does feel very hydrating and nice, which is good. And now I'm going to use the Bobbi Brown Corrector stick. I've been interested in this. It looks like this kind of pinky color. It looks a little bit lighter than the Becca one, and I don't know, I've just been interested. Both of Bobbi Brown's sticks I did buy, just because I've been really like fascinated by them. And I'm just gonna tap it on with my finger. It definitely has a brightening effect, and it feels very soft on my finger, so it doesn't feel super dry. I like that you can roll it all the way back down so that you don't accidentally close the lid on it. You know exactly what I'm talking about, I'm sure. So this is with the corrector. It actually does brighten up my under eyes by quite a bit. It doesn't fully cover them, but it does look really nice. I could wear this with like no makeup and just look slightly more awake. For foundation, I'm going to use the GIORGIO Armani Luminous Silk. Here's the mini that I've been using for years, and I use it in shade 2. I don't know why, but I just randomly got shimmer all over my face. I must have touched something and then touched my face. I am on antibiotics right now, and antibiotics can have some not so fun side effects, so that's one of the reasons, on top of everything else, that I've not been able to resume a normal filming schedule like I've wanted to. I've still got probably, I think I've got like a week left, so just have to bear with it. And then I'm going to use the Bobbi Brown concealer stick. I have the shade Porcelain. It's, I think, the lightest shade. I was debating between this and the shade Down, but honestly the shade Down looked too dark, so I went with this. And looking at the stick, I think I probably made the right choice. So I'm gonna put some of it onto a brush and see how well it goes on. I wonder if this is meant to be more applied with a finger. I really have no idea. I'm just gonna try it with a brush on this side and see what happens. I'm really interested in the Shiseido one too, but you know, Shiseido like never goes on sale. Yeah, so it's definitely not a full coverage concealer. It feels like it doesn't cover up everything, so I definitely was thinking to myself I probably shouldn't have gotten this, but at the same time my curiosity really did get the better of me. And honestly, this is probably something I could just wear without any other makeup on and it would look good, because like my only problem with my concealer method is that it looks really bad if you don't have any foundation on because it's so full coverage. I could totally see myself using a stick like this and being able to use like no makeup and just have this under my eyes. Yeah, honestly, it doesn't look half bad. And then the next thing I got was something I've honestly been wanting for years at this point, and it is, oh, there's a puff with it, how cute. It is the Bobbi Brown Sheer Pressed powder. I've been wanting this for years, you guys. I've literally actually been wanting this for years, and I'm so excited I finally have it. So I'm going to use the puff it comes with, and I'm going to try applying it and see what happens. I've heard a lot of people have really good things to say about this, so I definitely have very high hopes. On first look, it looks really good. So because we're using Urban Decay, I'll just pair it with the anti-aging primer potion here. I've noticed Urban Decay shadows do best with some kind of tack underneath them. The mattes are rather powdery and benefit from having some grip. And then I'm gonna do my eyebrows. So as usual, I'm trying to finish my NYX Micro Brow Pencil in black. And I plan on doing a really deep smoky look today, so I'm going to do my eyebrows. I'm not really gonna worry too much about my eyebrows being too dramatic. Someday I really want to get my eyebrows microbladed, but it's not really worth it right now because, you know, it's really expensive. But someday, if I ever am like a big time booty guru, I'll get my eyebrows microbladed. Okay, so they're a little bit crazy in shape today, so we'll just chalk it up to I forgot how to do my eyebrows and move on. But yeah, I definitely didn't mean to do them up this high, and I really don't like to do them up that high because my forehead is literally all of that big, so usually I try and pull them down a little bit more, but that was a mistake, so shh, once my bangs are down, nobody's gonna notice. Okay, and then I did my Glossier Brow Flicks came in. I have two because free shipping, and I'm going to be using one of them today. I used the shade Black, and I just honestly am tired of trying to find an alternative to it, so I'm just gonna use this again. Okay, so the eyebrows are a mess. So I'm going to be, as I said, I'm using Naked Heat, and I really want to do something very warm, smoky, totally 2010s YouTube if me watching other people talk about 2010s YouTube is correct. So I'm gonna start off with this shade down here. I'm pointing to this shade, just making sure that I can remind myself. So the thing about Naked palettes, it's not like they're bad or anything, it's just that like no matter what, you're always gonna get a look that looks the same. It'll just be however dark you end up going is gonna be how dark it is. So you can create looks of different depths depending on like how far down the palette you go, but overall the palette, the whole point of these palettes is that your look will always turn out the same, so it's like foolproof. That's definitely one of the reasons why, like, you know, people are just like, oh, these are so boring, but that's like kind of the whole point. I've always found the mattes in the Naked formula to be very easy to work with. The shimmers are just kind of super questionable, but I would imagine that like if you're just wanting something more like daytime makeup, office makeup, then it's not gonna overpower anyone or look unprofessional. But if you're like me and you just wear makeup purely for the hell of it, then I can definitely see why people complain about them because, you know, I find them boring too. So yeah, I'm just using this big old brush because I still haven't washed my brushes. So I'm just gonna stamp this all over. I'll blend out the upper edges later, so no need to worry. Okay, and then I'm going to go in with the darkest matte, which is right here, because I want it to be a very smoky look while also simultaneously not taking much effort. And this is gonna go on top, and I'm not starting darkest first because these mattes blend really easily into each other, but I'm not starting with the transition shade either because if I layer too much then it stops sticking to my eyelid because my eyelids are dry. That's why I kind of am using like a medium dark and then I go dark, and then I'll go light back over all of this to blend. So I kind of zigzag like that, that's my workflow. And I'm trying not to blow it out too far, which is a little hard because this is like a monster-sized brush, and I'm just taking it up pretty much as high as the other shadow was. And you can really see how dark and rich these mattes can get, while also really not being a huge pain to use. They're honestly very easy to use. I didn't start wearing makeup seriously until about the end of 2018. 2019, and then I started my YouTube channel in 2020. By the time I got Naked Heat, it had already been out on the market for a while, and I remember having like the worst time finding tutorials using it because all the tutorials were so old, back when like everybody's lighting collectively sucked. So I thought for today's video, I'll make an updated video using this with marginally better lighting and marginally better production value. So yeah, that's what that's looking like. Love it, and it just brings back so many fun memories of this palette for me. And now I'm going to go into this shade here, and I'm going to blend everything out. But as you can see, these shades honestly more or less blend themselves. I really don't have to do much to make them work for me. Yeah, this brings back good memories. And now I'm going to go into the first shade I used, and I'm going to start working on the lower lash line. And then I'm going to use the darker shade and just start working over that. And I'm being a little bit more careful with the lower lash line. I don't want to get too carried away, which I'm sure it inevitably will happen. I will get carried away, but you know, we're trying not to. And I'm doing the lower lash line trick just to kind of add some length to my lower lash line, make my eyes look a little bit longer. I feel like every time I do it, I still don't get it right, but I do it a little better than last time. And now I'll just make sure that it's nice and dark, maximum value. Just really make sure I get those shades nice and dark. And I'm getting very little fallout just because these shades are a little bit harder pressed, which is really nice. And then once again, I'm going to blend out, especially this little corner here is not the greatest. And I accidentally used the first shade in the palette, and apparently it has some shimmer in it, so I'm going to put it on the other side too to balance it out, or else I'm going to look really strange. Okay, so that's what we're looking like now. Accidentally shiny on the inner corner, but actually I kind of like it. I am going to go back in and put some more dark shade on this side because I feel like it doesn't go up high enough to even things out without, and hopefully we don't go into panda mode, but we'll see. So it's a little bit higher, and now I want to dive into the shimmers. So I know, warning you, these shimmers are really nothing like terribly epic, but I feel like they are still a lot better than like the greens or the cyber. I feel like they're still better. So I'm going to go into the darkest one here for maximum smoke effect, and I'm just going to use my finger, and that's going to go right in the middle. The cool thing about these though is that they weren't powdery, they were just very smooth. So they weren't like super shiny, but at the same time they still were very smoothing. Whereas like some of the more recent palettes they've released, it's like it's powdery and it's not smoothing and it's not shiny, so like you really don't get good of anything. And then I am gonna have to go back and kind of blend over it because I accidentally put on too much. But yeah, you can really see how this dark shimmer just really adds that smoky element to this look. A little too much if you ask me, almost. I might have put too much on. And then I'm going to drop some on the lower lash line. Yeah, this shimmer almost feels like it's darker than the mattes I laid down, so kind of starts to draw attention to itself. Okay, and I'm going to start blending around these shimmers, really try and diffuse the edges. Okay, that's slowly getting better. Alright, so I think I made it a little bit less abrupt. That was almost a mistake. Yeah, you can really see how this palette still holds up really well, all things considered. And lastly, I'm going to take, well, if I can find one. This has a little bit of green on it, but I tried to rub as much of it off as possible. I'm going to go into this shade here. So the only problem with this palette for me is that for between this and this, you get a really significant jump in the value of the shimmers, and I kind of wish there was something right between the values of these two. Like change one of these, like change this one maybe, and then it would have been a little bit more complete. And I'm going to use this to add some brightness to the look. And then I'm going to go back into the first shade I used earlier on accident without realizing it was shimmery, and I'm going to just use that to go over everything on the inner corner once more. Just really make sure everything is nice and bright and blended. This is actually such a pretty finish. It's shiny, but it's subtly so, but not in a way that's ugly. Like, this shade is actually super pretty, and if Urban Decay is going to do weaker metallics, they really should have done it in this formula. Yeah, they definitely peaked with like the OG, with like Naked Heat and stuff. Ooh, I like that so much. And then I'm just going to fill in the gap right here. I'm just gonna run it kind of up and over everything as well. It just kind of helps to blend everything together. Alright, and that's gonna be this eye look complete. This brings back so many good memories of using this palette, and I just thought, yeah, why not use it on camera? And I got it when it was half off somewhat recently, and I actually haven't used it yet, so it's really good to just use something that I used to use all the time, and badly too. Like, my eyeshadow looks were terrible, my blending was awful, I didn't know how to work with my monolids, but like, good memories though. I used that palette so much. I'm so sad that Matcha ruined it, but At least I have one back, even if it's not the original. I'm gonna put on some lashes and then I'll be right back. Okay, the eyes are on. I put on the Doe Cloud 9 lashes. I went ahead and trimmed the fronts. I trimmed the spiky parts on the front down so that it was more of a true taper. And I think I need to do a little bit more trimming, but I'm on my way to liking them a little bit more now that I've started to really customize them. I do still really miss the OG Cloud 9, but this is what we're left with now. They are on alright. I did an okay job putting them on, but as you can see, they accentuate the smoky eye really nicely without covering up the eyeshadow, which is why I do like these so much. They're just super, super wispy. And I have some brown liquid liner, and then I also have some brown liner on the inner corners of my eyes, and that really just kind of helps give my eyes a nice amount of lift, a little bit of sultriness, without putting eyeliner in my waterline because I just don't feel like doing that today. But yeah, I love how my eyes look. Honestly, this is like my favorite kind of template look to do. I just love when I have a warm smoky eye. I've just always really liked warm smoky eyes, and so and now that it's summer, I want to do nothing but warm smoky eyes. I feel like smoky eyes and monolids are peas in a pod, best friends ever. So if you haven't tried it yet because you think smoky eyes won't work on your monolids were made for smoky eyes, okay? I think smoky eyes look the best on monolids. I am biased. And now, as you guys know, whenever I do looks like these, I always don't know what to do because pink blush doesn't usually go with this kind of eye look, but we'll try. I still want to, like, you know, I gotta put that effort in. So I definitely want to use a more matte blush today. So I think I have this blush here called Hazel Orange. I know Pony used this once in one of her fall videos, so I'll give it a try. Yeah, my Hakuhodo order did come in, but I told myself I cannot use them until I wash my brushes. I thought that would motivate me, but here we are. But I'm gonna use this shade today. And I'm using a really fluffy brush so that it doesn't kind of come on too hard all at once. It may be a little bit too orange for this. I may need something a little bit more darker, like kind of a bronzy color to tone it down, but I figured that's what bronzer is for. In the meantime, I'm just going to go nice and slow, and I'm just kind of focusing this on the outer part of my face, so I'm not going to bring it far in today. Super pretty shade. I definitely can see why Pony likes it a lot. This whole formula as a whole is really nice. And the pink shades from their pink collection did finally drop on YesStyle. They're sitting in my cart. I'm just waiting to have a big enough cart to get free shipping. But I'm very excited for them because they're a bit more darker pink, so I think they'll look really good on me. And these are like really affordable blushes. So aside from the Sem blushes, these are like pretty much the next best thing. And I like how they're a lot more easier to build than the Sem ones, which I think were a little too pigmented for me. So I'm just going to leave it there. And then to blend it out, I'm going to go into Milky Peach, which is milky color. Barely shows up on me, but it's really nice to just throw in the middle of my face. It kind of has an additional blurring effect, which is really cool too, and it'll just blend out the blush. And then I do want to put on some kind of bronzer, something a little bit more on the warm side. I think I'm really gravitating towards this bronzer from the Hourglass Sculpture palette. Really gravitating towards this today. Something about it just feels really pretty today to me. So this is just gonna go on the outer parts of my face, and I'm gonna let it blend into the blush. I forget how good these powders are from Hourglass. I haven't used them in a while. I like bringing these with me. The powders are actually, it's a pretty sturdy palette. I have dropped this before and it doesn't break, so. Alright, so that's gonna be the face on. I think I'm going to forego highlighter today just because I like the smokiness of the eye, and with how subtle the inner corners are, I kind of want the highlighter there to not be any. I think the glow of my foundation comes through really naturally. What I am going to do is I will take the Mood Light Powder from JACLYN. I have it in the shade Do Me. This is the old packaging, so don't mind it. I'm gonna take some of this as a highlighter today. I do really like using this as a setting or finishing powder, particularly in the winter, but if you kind of concentrate it in one area, you can turn it into a really pretty highlighter. So you can see I really concentrate it, and then you can really see it come through, but it's still super pretty. So that's the powder, and I'm going to leave my nose looking as it is. There's some natural glow coming through from the foundation, but it's more or less mattified. It's hot. I have the AC on pretty high because I don't want my AC to just like die in the middle of it being like, you know, a heat index of like 112. I don't want my AC to die because I would rather be slightly hot than get heat stroke. and I don't want to see like a massive AC bill either. So it's like, it's almost 80 up here, but it's fine, fans, whatever. All right, lips. So as I mentioned earlier, I'm just kind of slowly working through panning the Cosmetics lip liner in Fawn. No particular reason, I just feel like using it up. Try to like, I keep doing my lips off camera, so I'll try to do it on camera. So as you can see, I always overline my lower lip a lot more than I overline my top lip to balance them out, because I feel like the lower lip is just so small otherwise. And then let me pick out a lip color. I'm gonna use Chili Up from Roman, the Dewyful water tint. I don't think I've used this on camera yet. I was gonna use one of my orange juicy lasting tints, but it's just too orange. And again, when you use these, you don't need to rub any product off onto the neck of the bottle. What you get is enough for one application. It really is just amazing how they're able to do this. Yep, okay, this is a really good shade for this. And I kind of like did 2 layers, so you can see how it kind of has a slight gradation effect. It is so pretty, and I love the Dewyful water tint formula so much. So good, so obsessed. I know, I really am though. I really am like legitimately obsessed with this formula, and you guys do see me use this a lot even on camera, so you know I like these. I have every single color that's been ever released. That's how you know I like them. I also have almost every single color of the Blur Fudge tints too, so I like those too, but today is Glossy Lip Day. Love how this looks, so let me just get my hair. I probably could have gone a little bit crazier with my lips. I feel like I've done them bigger before and they're kind of small today, but that's okay. So this is the final look. Ignore my frizzy hair. I worked out this morning, so sweaty hair, I guess. I love how this turned out. This is like basically my go-to comfort zone look when I want to wear comfy, easy makeup that I like. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this look. I'm a little too far from the camera. I'll get closer. I hope you guys enjoyed this look. Yeah, this is the kind of makeup look I'm always the most comfortable creating, so this is just the look I like making the most. And that's really all there is to it, so I hope this inspires you guys, especially if you have monolids like me. I hope this inspires you guys to just go and do that smoky eye. Rock it. I swear, monolids and smoky eyes are BFFs, so please give it a try. You never know. Vertical gradient, always, and you will always turn out looking fabulous. This was a fun makeup tutorial done in 2022 using an incredibly retro palette, it feels like at this point, but I hope you guys enjoyed it. I'm sure at least one of you owns Naked Heat and has for some time, so I hope this might have inspired you guys to bust it out again and enjoy the heck out of it. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye bye!